You got to take care of health. You got to take care of mind. He's like, that comes first. If you're not taking care of yourself personally, you can never give your 100% to your people or the business.
What do you think the biggest learnings were? What did you learn?
We're in an industry where if I had a problem with something, someone's already walked through my shoes and has solved it. I had so many mentors around me that any issue that I faced with a quick call, it was immediately answered.
If you could time travel to any era for a day, where?
I'm a 90s kid. Well, so I would go back to the early 90s because you didn't have that much technology. People were still going out. There was networking happening face to face. I enjoyed that.
Okay, I'm really excited, Gurneet.
Me too.
So, Gurneet Singh, he is located in New Jersey.
Correct.
Just soon to be moving into a new office space. Are you there already?
Already there.
It was wild.
Thank you.
Maybe at the end of this, I'm going to share that video.
Sure.
Just want to get to know you.
Thank you.
I want to get to know you. So tell me a little bit about just who you are.
Yeah, so, Gurneet Singh, I'm an immigrant from India, but I've been living here since I was 3 years old. Parents came here trying to build a dream. Parents started working at odd jobs early on. Eventually, Dad got a job at a sneaker store. Ended up learning the sneaker business and ended up opening his own up, and eventually led to 15 sneaker stores in Brooklyn, New York. But eventually, me growing up was just a very spoiled kid. Didn't really know what I really wanted. If I touched something, I had it. So I kind of, until I remember this story, I got out of high school, and my dad was like, I got a gift for you. I'm like, what's the gift? And he's like, well, I'm going to send you, I'm going to give you a job in the airport pushing wheelchairs because you don't know the value of a dollar. So I was pushing wheelchairs 6 days a week overnight. And he said if I didn't do it, I'll get kicked out. But me coming from an Indian family, didn't think that was real. But he was actually dead serious about it. And, so I did that. And that changed my life forever because I realized what a normal individual has to go through on a day-to-day basis to earn a living. I wanted to go to Florida State University. That didn't happen. I went to a community school, got my bachelor's from Baruch, and then eventually got my MBA from Columbia. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Got into investment banking, first as an analyst at JP Morgan, and then I had a cousin that worked at Goldman Sachs, and then got into Goldman Sachs as an investment banker. Hated what I did not really like it. I was working over 80, 90 hours a week. I was making a lot of money, but for me, I wanted to live the life that my dad provided. And he gave us even though he woke up at 5, didn't come home at 10 every night, but he gave us a life that many people weren't able to live. So me one day, just like realizing that, hey, like I'm only waking up on a Sunday and I'm so tired, I have nothing much to do. So I was like, I need to do something else with my life. And happened to resign out of nowhere, didn't tell anybody. But funny story, the next day I had 50 family members over my house. My dad brought him over to tell him how wrong my son was making the wrong move. So, and then that's where my journey started.
So how'd you find this? Like being an entrepreneur is hard. Now you watched your dad do it.
Correct.
So there's some familiarity there.
Yeah.
So how Goldman Sachs?
Yeah. So, I grew up in a very entrepreneur family. A lot of my family members were business owners. So I grew up around that. I saw what business can do and working for yourself do. For me, my parents never thought I had that in me to run a business. So that's why eventually when I left Goldman Sachs, he offered me to come join the sneakers business. And I was like, and at the moment I was like, what, should I do it? It's an easy way out. I'll get to carry the family's legacy. And I remember this night till now. I was in my bed. I was like, Gurneet, if you take the easy way out, God forbid something happens to your parents 20, 30 years from now. If you don't know how to work hard for something, you'll never bounce back. So I ended up telling my dad, I was like, I love the gesture, but I want to do something on my own. And I ended up looking for jobs and opportunities, and I happened to, apply just like everybody else. And I walked into the office and I saw a young 37-year-old, a super successful human being, and I really connected with him. And all he was talking about was opportunity and how if you work hard and it's performance-based. And that's what I wanted. I wanted where my hard work was appreciated and where I'm going to get every opportunity to move up, where I'm just not a number at a company.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was the most important thing. So, I happen to find that.
So when you think about like learnings,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it wasn't an easy journey. You picked it.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest learnings were? Like what did you learn?
So here's the beautiful part about our industry, Vera. We're in an industry where if I had a problem with something, someone's already walked through my shoes
Mm.
and has solved it. So the beautiful part is that I had so many mentors around me that any issue that I faced with a quick call, it was immediately answered.
What did you struggle with?
Emotional IQ, and I was when you're young, I think you're very emotional. You're quick to make a lot of decisions based on the way you feel. And I think over time, I've just realized that a lot of those decisions are just not the right decisions. And it's really helped me evolve as an individual. I am not successful because of everything. It's because of the person that I've become.
How did you go through that, Gurneet? I wish everybody in the world changed. I wish everybody in the world could see, hey, they have greatness in them and, they evolve. What was the work you had to do?
Yeah, I mean, look, change is not going to happen overnight. I was very undisciplined individual. I had a lot of bad habits. I had no routines. I didn't know what a schedule would look like. And someone sat me down and he was like, you're running your life into a wall. He's like, you have no clue what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. He's like, you're good at this, but it's not sustainable. So he's like, first, number one, like, you got to take care of health. You got to take care of mind. He's like, that comes first. If you're not taking care of yourself personally, you can never give your 100% to your people.
Mm-hmm.
So that like clicked something. And I started to have a routine. Now my routine is for the past 10 years. I wake up every day at 4:30.
Wow.
I meditate for around an hour and a half. I get all my schedules done before. All my emails normally are answered early. Everything that's kind of most important that I can done, I get it done in the morning. So when I'm in my field and I'm in my business, I'm all about my people. So I have no distractions. So I can give everything 100%. But that's because my routine is so important. If I don't wake up and I don't meditate, and if I don't have that discipline of when to go to sleep, when to eat breakfast, when to eat lunch, like those things are so important for my mental well-being that it helps me operate at 100%. It'll try to. So yeah.
How long did it take you, Gurneet? How long?
It's a still work in progress. In the beginning, it's tough. But once you start doing it, you start seeing the changes, you start feeling good. But it's been a work. For me, changes, I constantly find ways to evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I read books a lot. I never used to read before until I got into the industry that I'm in and I started reading. I started listening to podcasts. I started surrounding myself with people that were pushing me and encouraging me, hey, do this, do X, Y, and Z. So it happens till now, even till now. I'm finding ways to evolve myself on a day-to-day basis, but it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to learn how to deal with what comes with it. So, yeah.
Are you patient?
Very, very. I've learned that along the years. I'm not the type of person to rush through things. I'm one of those guys where I put my head down and I let the process play out. But I don't overly act anymore. For me, patience is key. Do I have an urgency in me? Yes. But I do understand that results take time and it's a process to everything. And as long as I stick to the process, I know eventually results follow.
What are you most, I don't want to say proud of, but what lights you up about the business you're running? What is it that?
It's the question I get asked every day. It's the people in my business. I wake up, I have an obsession, and my obsession is to come through for my guys at 100% every day. Business is driven through our people. I have a deep passion to see them do well. And it's funny. There's days like I've run a successful deal now, and then there's days where, you can wake up and say, I don't want to go to the office today, and I can skip. But the thought of that one person in that room is waiting for me, or is looking for me, and is looking to hear my words, and is looking for my guidance, is what gets me out of bed every single day. It's about how do you create good examples in this world that can make a significant impact about the society. It's about how we treat each other. It's about teaching people what can a good role model and a citizen be in this world. For me, it's a bigger why than just running a successful business now. So yeah.
That's inspiring, Gurneet.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do really well in business. Is it hard to keep that in mind? Is it hard not to wander away?
See, the thing is, if you care enough, for me, my work is not work. My work is my life. It's my first home. I always tell that to everybody. I can stay in my office for 24 hours straight, and I'll never feel like I'm doing anything that's work-like. It's fun. I love what I do. Like, that's the difference. If you love what you do, then you never worry about wandering away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, when you see faces come into your office and they're smiling and someone's telling you that, hey, you made a big impact in my life, and, you know, we've recently hired someone's mom in the office, just to see a 60-year-old in the office trying to relive her dream again, for me, that's thriving.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I never want to wander away from what I'm doing. I love what I do. And I think if you have that type of passion in anything you do in life, it's never going to feel like work.
What do you think, Gurneet, when you hear about, the saying, I hear this, a lot of young people say it, well, find something you love. What do you think of that?
I have a very, raw answer to that.
That's okay.
Yeah,
we want it raw.
When someone says that to me all the time, I'm like, that's great. But I was like, sometimes, you want to find when you love doesn't pay or give you the life that you want. I was like, that's a passion. For me, I'll give you an example. For me, it was always real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be a real estate investor. I always wanted to do something in real estate. Well, I utilized this platform. I didn't join it. I didn't grow up thinking that I was going to ever run a big sales at a marketing company. But I've realized the potential that it can get me. It can be a vehicle to get me to live the life I want.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times people are looking for the perfect place, the perfect job, the perfect career, the perfect business. There is no such thing. You got to utilize and ask yourself, what's the life I want? How do I want to live? What does my future look like 5-10 years from now? What do I want to provide to my kids? And the path I am, is it going to help me get me to where I want to be? And a lot of times, for me, this was the path.
Mm-hmm.
And this path helped me invest into my passion, which I have a lot of real estate now, and I have different things that I've ventured into. But it's not always about what you love. And I fell in love with this. I didn't like it in the beginning, but now I fell in love with it because it provided me the life that I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, I say that to young people. I find that the better I get at something, the more I love it.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
The more competent or the more connected I am,
Yeah.
then that lights me up.
Yeah.
And so I do think it's interesting advice for young people, and I'm with you. I think about it more like you do.
For me, if you're not where you're at, so there's two ways of looking at things. And I relate this to my friends. A lot of my buddies are in the corporate world, and they hate what they do, and they always find ways to complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell them, if you're not going to do anything about it, and you're not going to get out of your comfort zone, and you're not going to take a risk in life, then stop complaining and find your way within the company that you're working at. Go network with somebody. Try to ask questions. Try to go look for information. Or just don't complain then.
Right.
Right? Like, if you're not going to get out of your room or take the big risk, you can't just come every single time we go to a dinner and complain about, hey, this one's not treating me right, this one's not doing right. Well, if you're so unhappy, then do something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to remain where you're at and you feel like that's your career, then you got to find an avenue to move up. And that's either through learning more, getting your skill sets better, networking more, asking questions, hey, what can I do more? You have to put yourself out there. You have to separate yourself. If you can't separate yourself, then no one's going to look at you. So, yeah.
Who do you think has impacted you the most?
My dad. I think my dad, well, my parents in general, but I think my dad's values and principles have really, really instilled in me. He's the man that put everyone in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
He took care of everybody, never complained. Even though when you do that at times, people don't appreciate it. And there's times people always feel, oh, I do so much and I always get, screwed over or whatever the case is. My dad always told me, you do good right, you do good by people, universe somehow, some way finds a way to take care of you. He's like, don't ever, have a good heart. And I've always kept that. For me, it's always about doing the right things. It's making sure that if I can put a smile on someone's face, I did it because he did it. It's always about being the man of the house. He did it, so I did it. So it's never about, for me, it was always about carrying those principles and those values with me throughout and eventually passing out to my kids. So, yeah.
How do you think he feels about you, your life, the success that you've had? How?
It's so funny. He was my biggest. He was my biggest complainer when I initially started. He used to go on vacations. He used to send me videos that, hey, look, I'm going on vacation and I would bring you along, but you have to quit what you're doing first. And I'll show you a funny story. I got promoted out, and 3 months in, it was around Christmas time. I was like, Dad, come on, let me show you something cool. I had $60,000 saved up in my account, and
Wow.
my dad teared up like I've never seen before because it took him 2 years to make a single profit in his business, and he saw his son do something that he never thought. And since that day, he's my biggest fan. He never lets me leave the house without me not giving him a fist bump and saying, go crush it. And for me, the proudest moment in the world is to see those guys happy and I'm able to take care of them and they never have to worry about anything. And what he did for my family, I'm proudly doing the same for him, and I want to. I feel as an obligated son to do so. So yeah, he's very proud now.
No, that's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
He's probably really happy you're not in the sneaker business, or
Yeah,
maybe not.
Yeah. Well, no, he's very happy that I'm not in the sneaker business anymore. So yeah.
I want to ask something around. You've done a lot.
Yeah.
You've accomplished a lot. Sometimes I find when people, break barriers or they break records, it's like I've done it. How are you thinking about the future? How are you thinking about your goals? How do you set them?
I see certain people in my organization who are in a much more leadership role. My goal is to really help them accomplish what I've accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my next goal. But bigger, I always had a purpose that I wanted to build one of the biggest charitable organizations ever. And I have a deep passion for that. One of the biggest reasons why I do what I do is not just to create something for business, but also for people outside the business where it can have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you do a lot of work in Belize, and that inspires me. But I have a big, recently we started a soup kitchen in New York City where we used to feed the homeless twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we've gotten down to 3 times a week, and
Wow.
eventually it's going to get out to almost 24 hours a day, where every dollar that's come in goes towards the cause. For me, homeless, I don't like when people are not eating and they're homeless. And then eventually all these different causes are just going to come up, and we're thinking about how do we help out people that are reincarcerated, and some of them are there some of them deserve a second chance, and how do we help those individuals out in the future? So I think for me, business goals is the reason why help me achieve these personal goals.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm thinking about my business and I'm aggressive, because it's just not about the money aspect. It's about, number one, how do I create an opportunity for people who can help them change their lives?
Right.
Number two, obviously income is important because income helps you take care of all these philanthropy work that you do. And that's my biggest why now. So, yeah.
Where does that come from? Where do you think that comes from? I think a lot of people want to do good things. They want to get involved, A lot of people don't have the means, right? They give their time. Where does all that come from for you? Like what in your background or your value system?
So my religion is Sikhism. So growing up, in this country, my dad gave me the option, hey, look, if you want to go against your values and principles and you want to look like a normal individual in this country, you can, and you don't have to wear a turban and do any of those things. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, Dad? No. I want to stand out, and I want to make it in this world, being proud of who I am, and I want to make a difference. For me, it was all, and our religion has taught us, we're known for serving the community. It's instilled in us that how do we make a difference on a day-to-day lives? If there's a tragedy, if there's something happening, we normally try to be on the front lines to make a difference. And that's always instilled in us as a child. And I'm so proud of that. Even till now, like if I feel I can make even a tiny difference on a day-to-day basis, it makes me feel so wholesome. It's not about the money. It's not about the materialistic things. It's how do you create a society where you are led and people are inspired by? How does a child look at me? How does my cousins, my nieces, or my family members, my friends, or my neighbors' kids, how do they look at this individual like, wow, like, I want to be inspired by that individual. I think for me, that's the power we have. And I know at times, people, want to do things and they say that they can't, but everyone has the power to be a good individual. Everyone has the willpower. We live in the best country in the world where you have food on your table, you drink water twice a day, you eat once or twice a day, you have a roof over your head, you're still blessed. You're not in a third world country.
Right.
So we can't make excuses and we can't complain.
I love that. I feel like, Gurneet, in a lot of ways, that immigrant mentality, like I so connect to it.
Yeah.
So connect to it. And I heard that on repeat. I want to go back to philanthropy. I think it's a big deal. You're a young man.
Yeah.
So the fact that you are doing such good in your community, I think it is a great example. You could spend your money any way, and the fact that you choose to do that, I think it is admirable, very inspiring.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think it's important. I think if we can make a difference, and there's a saying in my religion that every 25% of what you make should be given to charity to help out people. I don't know if I follow that to the T or not, but I definitely do try to make a difference in any way possible I can. I have to. It's in me, and I think everyone can make a small difference, right? Sometimes we don't realize you have a group of people together and a community together, and it doesn't matter how much you put or what you do. It's just the fact that your heart's telling you that, hey, I believe in this cause and I want to help.
Yeah, I think what I found, Gurneet, for me with Liberty, I get so much more out of it than I give. Which is incredible. I feel a little selfish, I get a lot out of time, effort, energy, money, and giving that back.
Yeah, and we saw it at the conference, and just when you look at those kids, can you imagine, like when you look at the kids and you look at their eyes and you see the difference that we're making in helping them grow and giving them an opportunity. I feel at times like we're so ungrateful here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. They do say we have to work on that. I do have some fun questions for you. All-time favorite book?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. It was my first initial book that I read in the business. Kind of changed the way I looked at money. So yeah.
Okay. If you could collaborate with any person, living or dead, on a project, who would it be and why?
Martin Luther King Jr. He believed in unity and love, and I think we need more of that in this world right now. So I would like to work on something where we can connect the world a little bit more.
Oh, I love that. If you could time travel to any era for a day, where?
I'm a 90s kid. So I would go back to the early 90s because you didn't have that much technology. People were still going out. There was networking happen face to face. I enjoyed that. Now it's like You don't see anyone outside. We're so digital. We're so not connected anymore. So, and life was a little bit more simpler than what it is now. I think we've gotten smarter. I think technology has helped us. But if you look at it, the people growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they didn't have much distractions. And they focused on values and principles, and they worked, and they became very successful. Nowadays, you have so much distraction around you, no one can commit to anything.
That's a really good question. How do you limit your distractions?
Yeah, I think for me, if it's not an important part of my life, I don't give it attention. Um, you know, I think right now the biggest distraction, we have it with us all the time. It's our cell phones, and especially for young individuals. A lot of times we're on social media. We're there for 7, 8 hours, and they're scrolling and they're comparing themselves to others while focusing on themselves. So for me, it's always prioritizing what's important to me, which is my family, my business, my people, my health, and I keep it to that. Keep life simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Right? If those are the most important things to you, then you concentrate on those. When we start thinking about why my life is not like this and why are we comparing and we're looking at social media and we're thinking about, oh, look at this person on this vacation, that vacation, you're never going to get anywhere in life. So for me, it's always about just staying in my lane, putting my head down, stay humble, and focus on things that I need to work on. That's
Oh,
it.
we're going to end on that. That was great,
Cool.
Gurneet. That
Thank
was
you.
great. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So fun.
Thank you.